Aristotle wrote that to command others, a man must first command himself. The Stoics went further. To command yourself, you must first become suspicious of your desires. That sentence is not comfortable, and comfort, I discovered, was the first thing I had to remove. I did not begin this experiment because I was poor, nor because I was wealthy. I began because I noticed something humiliating. My income had increased, my anxiety had not decreased. My possessions multiplied, my stability did not. I stood in a city of glass and noise, scrolling numbers, moving funds, purchasing convenience, and still felt dependent. The Parthenon does not scroll, stone does not hurry. So I decided for 7 days to live as if I were accountable to marble instead of markets. 7 days, not as performance, not as aesthetic minimalism, but as architecture. Day 1. Own nothing inwardly. The Stoics wrote that wealth is not having many things, but needing few. That line felt poetic when I first read it. It felt violent when I attempted it. On the first morning, I listed everything I believed I needed: streaming services, daily coffee ritual, convenience subscriptions, impulse spending disguised as reward. I did not remove them immediately, I questioned them. The Stoics begin with interrogation. Not, can I afford this? But what does this own in me? That question unsettled me, because I realized most of my spending was not about survival. It was about mood management. Ask yourself, what do you purchase to regulate your emotions rather than your life? Day 2. Voluntary discomfort. Seneca practiced voluntary poverty, and he would wear rough clothes and eat plain food while wealthy, reminding himself he could survive loss. So on day 2, I removed comfort deliberately. No luxury meals, no convenience rides, no paid shortcuts. I walked, I waited, I cooked simply. Something unexpected happened. I did not feel deprived. I felt less fragile. Fragility is expensive. The more comfort you require, the more you must earn to protect it. And protection costs freedom. The Stoics were not against wealth, they were against dependence. Ask yourself honestly, if half your comforts vanished tomorrow, would you panic? Your answer reveals your leverage. Day 3. Reputation versus arete. I noticed something humiliating. Much of my spending was social. Clothes for perception, restaurants for image, gifts for signaling. The Stoics warned against living for reputation. Reputation is external currency. Arete is internal structure. When I removed purchases designed for approval, silence followed. No applause, no validation, only evaluation. It is easy to believe you are disciplined when people praise you. It is harder when no one notices. Ask yourself how much of your income exists to maintain an image, and who benefits from that image. Day 4. Time as the real treasure. On the 4th day, I tracked time instead of spending. Where did it go? Scrolling, reacting, responding. Time leaked in fragments. Money follows time. The Stoics treat time as sacred capital. If you control time, income bends. If time controls you, income enslaves. So I imposed silence blocks. No notifications, no reactive work, deliberate effort only. And income did not decrease, but anxiety did. Because reaction is erosion. Deliberation is architecture. Ask yourself, who dictates your daily rhythm? Intention or interruption? Day 5. Negative visualization. The Stoics rehearse loss. Not to become pessimistic, but to reduce fear. So I imagined losing half my income, not dramatically, calmly. What would break first? Mortgage, subscriptions, social outings? The exercise revealed something brutal. My lifestyle was engineered around assumption. Assumption is unstable. The Spartans trained in scarcity during peace. The Stoics trained in loss during stability. Why? Because a man rehearsed in adversity negotiates differently. Ask yourself, have you ever calmly rehearsed financial loss? Or do you avoid imagining it? Avoidance breeds shock. Preparation breeds composure. Day 6. Distinguishing need from desire. This day was quiet. The Stoics insist that most suffering arises from mislabeling desire as necessity. I wrote 2 columns. necessary, desired. The necessary column was small: food, shelter, basic tools. The desired column stretched: upgrades, conveniences, improvements. Upgrades are not evil, but they inflate maintenance. Maintenance inflates obligation. Obligation inflates dependence. Dependence inflates fear. Fear inflates spending. The cycle revealed itself. Ask yourself, how many of your financial obligations were once optional desires? And who decided they became mandatory? Day 7. Silence about money. On the final day, I did something difficult. I stopped talking about money. No income comparisons, no subtle boasting, no complaints. Silence exposed insecurity. Because much conversation about money is reassurance-seeking. The Stoics do not seek reassurance. They seek sufficiency. Sufficiency is quiet. When the week ended, my income had not changed. But my posture toward it had. Income was no longer identity. It was tool. Tool, not master. The shift. Living like a Stoic for 7 days did not increase my earnings. It reduced my dependence, reduced my impulse, reduced my emotional spending, reduced my fear. And fear is expensive. The Stoics did not pursue income. They pursued rewritten, excellence of character so firm that external fluctuation could not disturb it. Rewritten changes spending more than budgeting apps ever will, because it changes desire. And desire drives economy. Ask yourself, if you became internally sufficient, what expenses would disappear? The architecture of inner wealth. By the 8th morning, nothing external had changed. The same city stood. The same bills waited. The same numbers blinked. But something subtle had shifted. Income no longer felt like identity. It felt like weather, and weather is endured, not worshipped. Why modern systems profit from your impulse. The Stoics warned that desire, unchecked, becomes a leash. I began noticing how often money moved because emotion moved first. A difficult conversation, order something, a small victory. Upgrade something, a boring afternoon, browse something. Emotion triggered motion. Motion triggered spending. Modern systems are engineered for this. Notifications are timed. Sales are framed as urgency. Scarcity is manufactured. The Stoics would have called this architectural manipulation. And they did not blame markets. They blamed unexamined reaction. Ask yourself, how often does your spending follow a mood rather than a plan? That answer is not comfortable, but comfort is rarely instructive. Comparison as financial erosion. On the 9th day, I caught myself scrolling through curated lives, homes larger than mine, cars newer, vacations brighter. Comparison is not envy alone, it is financial distortion. When you measure yourself against another's visible output, you begin adjusting your own consumption upward. The Stoics rejected comparison because it externalizes standards. Rewritten is internal. Internal standards stabilize. External standards inflate. Inflation is expensive. Ask yourself honestly, if no one could see your life, how much would you change about it? The difference between those two lives is the cost of ego. Why Stoicism does not reject wealth. This must be clear. The Stoics were not ascetics by necessity. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Seneca advised emperors. They did not condemn wealth. They condemned attachment. Attachment distorts judgment. A man attached to income will defend it irrationally, will overwork to preserve it, will compromise values to maintain it. The Stoics taught this. Wealth is safest in the hands of the detached. Because detachment makes negotiation possible. Ask yourself, if your income required moral compromise, would you recognize the moment, or would you justify it? The cost of constant expansion. Modern culture equates expansion with growth, more square footage, more subscriptions, more scale. But expansion increases surface area. More surface area increases vulnerability. The Stoics valued contraction, reduce obligations, reduce fixed costs, reduce dependence. Reduction strengthens foundation. Foundation determines legacy. I began trimming small expenses, not to hoard, but to test sufficiency. The result was not deprivation, it was quiet, and quiet reduces error. Ask yourself, What in your financial life exists only because you never questioned it? Control and the circle. Epictetus divided life into two categories: what you control, what you do not. Income sits partially in the second. Desire sits in the first. The experiment revealed something humiliating. I obsessed over income fluctuations. I rarely examined desire inflation. Desire inflation forces income escalation. If desire remains constant, income gains accumulate. If desire expands with income, stability never arrives. Ask yourself, has your lifestyle expanded at the same speed as your earnings? If so, you have built motion, not margin. Silence as financial power. The Stoics valued silence, not absence of speech, absence of reaction. In negotiations that week, I spoke less, waited longer before agreeing, did not rush to fill silence. Something unexpected happened. Others conceded more quickly. Because urgency leaks leverage. Leverage is invisible wealth. Ask yourself, in financial decisions, do you move first out of discomfort, or can you endure pause? The shift from scarcity to sufficiency. Scarcity whispers, earn more. Sufficiency asks, what is enough? The difference reorganizes spending permanently. Enough is not a number, it is a boundary. And the Stoics build boundaries before expansion. Boundaries prevent erosion. Without boundary, appetite consumes gain. Ask yourself, do you know your definition of enough? Or are you drifting towards someone else's? Drift is expensive. How Stoicism changes investment. By the 12th day, something had changed in how I viewed investment. Not as gamble, not as thrill, but as delayed gratification. The Stoics train delay. Delay increases patience. Patience increases compounding. Compounding is ancient architecture. Stone stacked properly survives centuries. Money compounded properly survives volatility, but only if desire remains disciplined. Ask yourself, are you investing from clarity or chasing momentum? Momentum feels powerful. Structure is powerful. The quiet relief of reduced fear. The greatest change was not financial, it was emotional. Fear of loss diminished. Because loss had been rehearsed, because comfort had been reduced voluntarily, because sufficiency had been defined. Fear drives bad financial decisions. The Stoics knew this. Remove fear, and you remove urgency. Remove urgency, and you gain judgment. Judgment preserves wealth. The injustice you were never told here is the uncomfortable truth. Modern systems depend on your dissatisfaction. If you were internally sufficient, consumption would drop. If consumption drops, dependency weakens. Dependency is profitable. The Stoics disrupt this cycle at the root. They architect the self first. Then the portfolio. Ask yourself, who profits from your insecurity? Follow that answer carefully. Why arete outlasts income? Income fluctuates. Arete compounds. A disciplined man spends with intention, invests with patience, negotiates without fear, lives beneath expansion pressure. Such a man survives downturns quietly because his structure does not rely on noise. Arete builds inner insulation. Insulation protects outer assets. The final shift. After 7 days, I did not feel richer. I felt less owned. Income became tool, not measure. Spending became choice, not reflex. Comparison lost its sting. Urgency lost its grip. And in that reduction, stability emerged. Not dramatic, not viral, stone-like. There is no applause in this, only architecture. And architecture is built in silence.